that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to establish the Police Pension Board Bill 2020 as amended. Mr. President, distinguished senators, in conclusion, on behalf of the members of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, I sincerely wish to express my profound gratitude to the leadership of the Senate for the opportunity to serve the nation in this capacity. Thank you very much.
Any comments? Yeah, very distinguished Senator Tolu Odebi Ogun West.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my comment is just to the chairman, because looking at this report, my comment is just to the chairman. Looking at this report, we only have 5 signatories. If that is a quorum or that's acceptable as it is. There's only 5 members assigned out of the 23 members of the committee, so I don't know why that is.
Chairman, you have a response to that?
Yes, sir. We all know what we've been going through in the first few months in the Senate. We hardly get hold of even 2 senators, even you have a public hearing or anything to do. So the committee have tried very well to reach out to all the senators, which she has. And I think those are the only ones that she can get hold of to sign this thing.
Let me ask, is there any member of the committee who is here who has not signed? Do you have any objection to the report? Okay, you have signed. Any other person? Are you a member, Senator Smata Demi? Come back to your seat. Senator Dimka, are you a member? Have you signed? Any objection? Order. Do you have any objection? Okay, you have signed. Any member? Are you a member? I'm looking for members. All the members have signed. Senator Barkia, are you a member? Are you a member? Do you have any objection? Huh?
Somebody look for me to sign. I said, Mr. President, I'm a member, but no.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, Niger North. Mr. President, I just want to commend the chairman of this committee for ensuring that this particular bill will receive our attention before we wind down. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is very important because the issue of pension for police officers is critical, and experience have shown that the lack of attention to police pensioners has been exploited by even bandits and other criminal elements. So I think this is a very, very important intervention by this night Senate, and it is a very good one. I'm happy to be part of it, and I want
the people at the back, please, the noise is too much. Okay, continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I said I just wanted to put on record that, of course, this particular bill is a very, very important one, and I want to see it as one of the legacies that this night Senate will be leaving behind. Because the pension for police officers, retired and other men of the police force is key.
Please, leader, Deputy Chief Whip, this is not sacred. We are going to the yes, please, so that we go and consider the yes.
to consider the report.
The minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we decided to resolve into committee of the whole to consider the report of our committee on police affairs, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clause 1 to 5, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6 is on page 6, on page 5, sorry. Clause 6 is on page 5. Structure of the board. Those in favor of clause 6 to 10, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11 is on page 7. Staff regulations and discipline. Those in favor of clause 11 to 15, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 16 is on page 10. Compulsory retirement and retirement on compassionate grounds. Those who are clause 16 to 20, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are clause 21 to 25, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are clause 26 to 33, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are the interpretation on page 17, stands part of the bill, say aye. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the short title on page 19, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the schedule, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the explanatory memorandum on page 21, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the long title on page 1, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, plenary.
Distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second. I will remove.
Minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I second the motion that the Senate do revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the Nigeria Police Pension Board established in Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 33 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate, third reading.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, I move that. I so move.
The minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I second the motion that the bill be read for the third time.
Distinguished colleagues, those who favor the motion that the Senate, this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Police Pension Board to handle pension matters for personnel of the force and for connected purposes 2023, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Police Pension Board to handle pension matters for personnel of the force and for connected purposes 2023, third reading taken, and the bill is passed. Well, just like the Deputy Chief Whip said, This is a very important bill. It's supposed to motivate and also give some kind of comfort and support to police pensioners and those who are in service alike. And I believe that is going to be very important as part of our legacy. Leader of the Senate.
What is happening? Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the ad hoc committee on an even disbursement of loan to 6 geopolitical regions by Nigeria's development banks. Mr. President, you may wish to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee.
Distinguished Senator Mohammed Sani Musa.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the ad hoc committee on uneven disbursement of loan to 6 geopolitical regions by Nigerian development banks. I so moved.
Distinguished Senator Issa Jibril.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibril, representing Kogi East. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the ad hoc committee on uneven disbursement of loan to 6 geopolitical regions by Nigeria's Development Bank, as moved by Senator Musa Mohammed Sani. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the ad hoc committee on uneven disbursement of loan to 6 geopolitical regions by Nigeria's development banks, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Somebody lay the report, please. Chief Whip, maybe tomorrow you will adjust some seats. Yes, tomorrow Senators Matthew Urogire, no, not Akunife, Akinyelure, I think they are supposed to move to this side tomorrow. So give them there's only one destination, even if you don't mention it. There's only one destination, so even we have chosen it for them. If you want to go and labor. Please present the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, the Senate at its sitting on Wednesday, 16 November 2022, considered a motion titled Uneven Disbursement of $500 billion loan to the 6 geopolitical regions by the Nigerian Development Banks, sponsored by Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume, Borno South, and thereafter constituted the ad hoc committee on uneven disbursement of loans, grants, and intervention funds to, among others, investigate how government financial interventions are disbursed to the 6 geopolitical regions by the development banks and other MDAs. The scope and terms of reference, the scope of the investigation is based on the disbursement made between 2015 to 2022, while the terms of reference adopted by the ad hoc committee are as follows. assess the inflow of funds to critical stakeholders, examine the type of loans, grants, and the criteria for disbursements, examine the amount disbursed, analyze the disbursement by the financial institution based on geopolitical regions. The methodology that was used was, one, we requested for relevant documents for identifying critical stakeholders. We held meetings, invited the appropriate financial institutions, and conducted investigative hearing, compiled reports with analysis of the findings. The list of the stakeholders is there in the report. And on page 44 of the report, you will see the findings and observations. And some of these findings are that the uneven disbursement of government financial interventions across the 6 geopolitical regions of the Federation were as a result of mode of operations, strategy, and eligibility criteria designed and operated by the development banks and financial institutions, their supervising ministries, and the Central Bank of Nigeria, which were without due consideration of the peculiarities that exist in the regions. That the current system adopted by federal government in dealing with the financial intervention lacks proper definition, coordination, and clear-cut jurisdictions. The development banks and some intervention ministries, departments, and agencies that run such programs operate overlapping financial schemes, thereby making it more confusing for potential beneficiaries to key in and access the funds, and in some cases open to abuse like coalition and mismanagement. The Development Bank of Nigeria has onboarded fewer participating financial institutions across the 6 geopolitical regions, especially in the undeserved regions of the Federation. The bank onboarded only 87 out of participating financial institutions. The Development Bank of Nigeria operates duplicate functional programs regarding micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, seeing that both SMEDAN and Bank of Industry provide the same services. Development Bank of Nigeria is also found to be providing undefined credit guarantees to eligible financial intermediaries akin to what NASAL does for agricultural lending to MSMEs, as well as Development Bank of Nigeria and NASAL Microfinance are essentially providing the same services and to the same beneficiaries. That is MSMEs, except that DBN provides the services indirectly through participating financial institutions. NASAL Microfinance PLC engages with the beneficiaries directly. This scenario presents a duplication of functions, leading to duplication and even likely to misuse public resources. The submission by DBN was that lending of the financial resources it holds to MSMEs is based on the participating financial institutions' lending criteria and risk assessment, which conflicts with that of the DBN. This conflicting criteria could open the windows of serious undesirable manipulations of the even disbursement principles of the federal government, though negatively affecting the developmental postures of the federal government. That's why using consultant by DBN, its disbursement provide a wide lopsidedness, which calls to question the rationale behind engaging consultants, and also justification for the resources used in engaging such consultants. Non-disclosure of the criteria by government financial intervention programs, like the Anchor Borrowers Program, is a misplaced assignment. NASAL is established to guarantee risks and not disbursement of loan through its participation as participating financial institution. That the Central Bank of Nigeria involvement in the financing of NASAL Microfinance Bank PLC is against the spirit of fairness and equity in the banking industry, as it has a crowd effect on other microfinance banks in the country. As a regulator, it should provide level playground for all players in the industry. That many citizens MSMEs, and small corporate companies who are supposed to be beneficiaries of government financial interventions are mostly not aware of such interventions due to low or inadequate publicity. Some of the criteria used for defining the employments and capital categories of micro, small, and medium enterprises are lumped and bundled such that the dividing lines between such enterprises are blurred. It is inconceivable to define a turnover of 1 billion and employment of above 250 persons in the MSME category. The Government Enterprise Empowerment Program is domiciled in the Bank of Industry, but the program is run and operated, including the supervision of the funding, by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. As to whether the ministry's criteria for disbursement or distribution of funds to beneficiaries by BOI is strictly adhered to is subject to further proving in future. This is with the high side that fault lines may exist in almost all executions of such